Hey everyone, Ultima456 here with another update video for you. Okay, it's finally done. Elden Ring is finally done. After 180 episodes, it's finally done. It's actually been done for me for about like a month, maybe even more. I don't know. It's hard to remember, but yeah, I finally managed to get it done. It's kind of crazy how it was 180 episodes because there was a part of me at first I was like, oh yeah, 120, and then it was like, oh, maybe 150, and then it was like, maybe 180, and it ended up being exactly 180. So after, obviously I didn't guess it 100% correctly straight off the bat, but afterwards it came to pass that it was about 180. So I had one of my correct guesses in there at the end. I'm really glad that like it's over. It's not that I dislike the game in any way. I think it was great. It's just that game is so long. It's longer than anything I've ever played before. I think it might just be like essentially the longest game ever. Like if we're just talking about how much content is in that game, it's ridiculous. Okay, so it's done. Everyone seems to think there's going to be DLC, so if there's DLC, I'll probably do it, especially if there's trophies. If there's not trophies, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, everyone seems to think there's going to be DLC. We haven't heard anything yet. But to be honest, it's similar to like how the Resident Evil 8 DLC is coming out soon. Well, it'll come out, what is it, like geez, in only a few days after this goes up. I'm recording this on a Sunday. You guys will see it on a Wednesday, and I think that the DLC comes out on Friday. So, but that game's been out now for well over a year. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. In terms of that DLC for Resident Evil 8, I do want to do it. I know what a few of the trophies are. I think there's one I'm not sure about. I don't know if it has a like play the game again on third person mode. So I guess I should check that. I don't think it does. I think it's just do Shadows of Rose, which is the extra playthrough, or which is like the new story content, and then there's a few things with the Mercenaries mode. So I don't know. I'll see when I get there, but I will try and inject that somewhere into the channel when I can. So the next game that I want to do after Elden Ring is actually I said that I was going to do Shadow of the Colossus, but when I started playing it, I there were a few reasons. There were two main reasons why I decided to change. The first one was the game was looking a little strange to me. I was playing it on the PS5, and I was like, "This is weird. Like this game is supposed to be a remake, but there was something about it that was just like the graphics were not looking great, and I was very confused about it. And I was like, what's going on here?" And it just so happened that one of the channels that I subscribe to, and you should too, it's a really good channel. His name is Mystic. I don't know if I've mentioned him before. His name is Mystic. His real name is Ryan Benecki, and he does like PlayStation news and reviews and stuff. He is super intelligent. He knows what he's talking about. He has like great videos it's Saturday morning for me, so it's probably like Friday for most people. But yeah, he's really, really, really good. And he released a video. He does like that's his main like news video for the week, and then I think on Tuesday he releases random stuff. And or I guess for me it's Wednesday. I think he releases like just random videos. I don't know how he has so many ideas, but he released this video about all the PS4 games that PS4 games that don't really work 100% well with compatibility mode on the PS5. And the last one he talked about was Shadow of the Colossus, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize that. So I think what I might have to do is I might have to play Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4 instead of the PS5, because the game just like the textures and the graphics just look like really bad. And I was like, this is so strange. And then finally, after about, I think it was 7 to 10 days after I started practicing, the video was released and I saw it and I was like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. So yeah, that was one of the reasons I decided probably not to go ahead with Shadow of the Colossus for right now. I probably will end up doing it in the future, but for now, I think I'm just going to put it to the side. The second reason is actually I wanted to try and make. So the game I'm going to do next is Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm really excited for this because the game is awesome. It's so fun, and I'm so glad that I'm finally being able to do it. It's been almost 2 years since I started the original. I think it was like late 2020 that I started the original, and now we're doing the remake. And so I wanted to do that game next. The reason is because I think it's going to take my guess is going to be somewhere in the 90 episode mark, maybe 100 episodes exactly. It's hard to, obviously, impossible to predict exactly how much, but I think it'll be 90 to 100. I don't think it'll be much more than that, and it might not even hit that, but we'll see what happens. But what that will do is it'll take me towards the beginning of next year, and then after that, I want to do Danganronpa V3, which will be the final Danganronpa game in the series. Finally, I'm super excited for that because I've been wanting to play that again for the longest time, ever since I completed it all the way back in, I think 2017 was when it came out. So I've been super excited to get back into that, and that will probably happen after Final Fantasy VII Remake. So Final Fantasy VII Remake next, then Danganronpa, and then after that, I'm not 100% sure, but it probably, if I can get to it, it'll probably be Neo 2. That's the one I really wanted to do because I know a lot of people have been waiting for that. And I thank you for your patience. I'm getting there. We're almost there. We're almost done with this like list of games that I wanted to complete. So yeah, it's coming around. The next thing, I am beyond excited for God of War Ragnarok. I'm recording this on the 23rd of October. God of War Ragnarok comes out on the, was it the 7th or the 9th? The 9th, I think, the 9th of November. Let me just do a check. So 1, 2, 3 is 26, and then it would be 3. Yeah, I think it's the 9th. I don't know. Anyway, it's a Wednesday, which is weird. Most games come out on Friday. So it's very strange that it's coming out on Wednesday, but I am ridiculously excited for this game. I cannot wait. I think it's going to blow everything out of the water. You know what? This year's Game Awards are going to be controversial because I actually think that Ragnarok will win Game of the Year, and people will be annoyed that Elden Ring didn't win Game of the Year, or Elden Ring will win Game of the Year, and then people will be annoyed that Ragnarok didn't win Game of the Year. It's going to be one of those two for sure. Like, I just don't see it not being the case. So, you know, we'll see what happens, but I'm extremely excited for Ragnarok. I don't think, not since like maybe Kingdom Hearts 3, I think I've been excited for a release. It's insane. And to know that it's like now just under 3 weeks away from when you're watching this or when I release this, it's crazy. I'm super excited. The next thing is Tales of Symphonia. So Tales of Symphonia Remastered was announced between the last update video and this update video, and now I have like an excuse to do it again. I don't know when I'm gonna do it again, but I really do want to at some point. One of the downsides though is that this new version, it's going to be based on I think the Chronicles and the PC version that they released in 2014, I think it was. So it's based on like the PS3 version, the PC version, and those versions run at 30 frames per second. The GameCube version apparently ran at 60 frames. Now, I haven't played the GameCube version in a very long time. I do own it, and I still have the GameCube, and I'm sure I could set it up to make it work. But I actually wasn't, like, I was aware of it, but it's one of those things that you kind of just forget, and you're like, wow, that game ran at 60 frames. Like, that's insane. And a lot of people, I think nowadays people are starting to really get invested in the difference between 30 and 60. When you guys see Final Fantasy VII Remake, it's so much better to play that game on PS5 than it is on PS4, because you do get 60 frames per second, and it is just buttery smooth. Like, it's actually hard to go back to PS4 once you've played it on PS5. It's insane how different it is. So it's a shame that they are saying that it can only be done, or that it's only coming out at 30 frames per second. There's like one other thing. They gave us the option to skip skits, which is interesting to me. You know, okay, that's a cool feature and all, but yeah, there's a lot of, like, there are a few videos on YouTube of like Tales of Symphonia deserves better, all this kind of stuff, especially considering that it was they announced it on a Nintendo Direct, and it was the last announcement, so it was their kind of like their big, you know, ending thing. So this is an important game, and it's an important game just in the history of games, but also for like the fact that they left it to the last game makes you think, well, yeah, it's an important game, because you'd think that a Nintendo Direct would leave a Nintendo only game to the very end, but they ended up going with Tales, and it's, I don't know, I'm still gonna, obviously I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna play it. I assume the trophies will be exactly the same as what we did before. And yeah, I would like to do it, and I would like to do the other Tales games as well, like, or some of the other Tales games. I think probably Vesperia would be the one that I do after Symphonia, because that one I think is the like sort of closest to what Symphonia was as well, and then maybe I can move down the track to do the other ones. The other thing is Dawn of the New World, which was the sequel to Tales of Symphonia. So during Elden Ring, I was actually able to play Dawn of the New World a little bit. I managed to get through about half the game. I think I got to chapter 4, like towards the end of chapter 4, and there's 8 chapters in that game. I was playing the game and I was trying to do at least one playthrough and write down a whole bunch of notes and make like a comprehensive guide, and I did a pretty good job. It's just that I haven't played it in a little while now, and I wanted to, like a few months, and I wanted to get back into it, but it's so difficult to balance everything. Like it really is hard to balance how much content I put out with how much like effort I'm putting into everything as well. So I'm doing my best to get as much done as I possibly can, and I'll release it when I can. I think, I've talked about this before, but with Danganronpa, the great thing about that game is that I only have to practice it once, at least for the main part of the story. It's the story can only go one way. There's nothing too difficult that needs to be practiced. So it's just play it, write down a few notes, and then record. And so I think like when I'm doing that, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for me to work on other stuff. So fingers crossed that when we get to Danganronpa, I'll be able to release at least one long May We Plait series, whether it be Dawn of the New World or, well, actually, I don't know if it'll be remastered, because Remastered said that it's coming out Q1 next year, so it might not even be out. So maybe Dawn of the New World. That's my like goal. If I can't do it, then I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. And that's probably like the saddest part of everything, is that like I want to do more games for the channel. The last time I did an update video, it was still Elden Ring, and now it's finally finished and we're moving on to something else. But I'd love to do more games for the channel, but it's just so time consuming. The only thing I can think of now that I'm going to try and do moving forward is, I think the first episode of every series will probably be about an hour long, not only because it makes it easier to go through the series more quickly and to get through each, even if I save like for example, if I do 1 hour, that's 2 episodes saved essentially, which is like 2 days, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but over the course of a year, it saves a lot of time. And if I can also, I will be doing this with Final Fantasy VII Remake in particular. There are some chapters in that game, so people might think, why not just do it via chapter? Some of the chapters that are extremely long, like I think chapter 9, is it chapter 9? Chapter 9 or chapter 14, chapter 8 as well, could conceivably be like a 5-hour, 6-hour video. And it's like, I'm not going to do like a 5 or 6 hour video for one full day and then follow that up with like another hour-long video, whatever, the next day. Like, it's just not going to happen. I don't have that degree of time to be able to invest. So I can only do what I can do. So with the first episode, I was like, I'm going to make it 1 hour long. It is a little bit shorter. It's actually 52 minutes because it's just the entirety of chapter 1 and like the very small portion of chapter 2. But I think moving forward, I'm going to try and make the first episode of every series 1 hour long, not only because it makes it easier to get through it quicker, but also it sets up the story better. Like a lot of games, the first hour is very pivotal and it kind of gives you an idea of how the story is going to move forward. So I think that makes sense. And then with Final Fantasy VII in particular, with some of the longer chapters, I'm going to try and throw like an hour in here and there. So maybe which was the first one? I think chapter 8 might be an hour. Like the first episode of chapter 8 will be an hour, and then a whole bunch of 20 minutes and all that. So just to kind of like bridge the gap, get through things a little bit quicker, and actually allow me to still have enough time to do everything. So yeah, obviously the alternative is like just do everything 20 minutes, then I have all the time in the world. Like if I had done Elden Ring as 20-minute episodes all the way through, like I would have had probably like an extra month's worth of episodes to make more stuff. But then that begets more stuff, and that begets more stuff, and then that begets more stuff. So like, yes, I'll be so far ahead, but I don't know, it takes longer to post. And you could do the whole, like, why don't you just post more than 1 episode a day thing? It's like, I don't know. It's weird when you're actually doing it. There's like that delicate balance of like, I don't want to push myself into a corner, but I also want to release as much as I possibly can. So it's a very delicate balance, and that's what makes it difficult. So there's that. I talked about that. So there was the Silent Hill 2 remake announcement. That was pretty cool. So finally, I mean, it has felt like literally 5 to 10 years, maybe not 10 years, but it's felt like an absolute age since the gaming community as a whole has been aware of like this potential Silent Hill 2 or Silent Hill information and news. Like there was that what was it? I can't remember the name. There was a company that was releasing Abandoned. I think Abandoned was the name of the game, and it was by something to do with the color blue. I hope I'm not conflating that with like Blue Point Games, because it's not Blue Point Games. But there was this company that was releasing this game called, I think it was Abandoned, and there was a whole hubbub about it, and I think it's literally been abandoned now. So I don't know what's going on, but a lot of people thought that was related to Silent Hill. I think there was a screenshot where it had like a one of those, like a signpost, and it said Godtown or Godstown, which was like something in Silent Hill 2 or 3. So yeah, there was a whole hubbub about it, but now finally Konami have come out and they said, all right, this is what we've got for you. Like all these years have passed. It's like, we got a Silent Hill 2 remake, we got a Silent Hill 2 movie, we've got another game called Silent Hill Townfall, we've got Silent Hill F, and then Silent Hill Ascension. So there's so much Silent Hill content coming out, and it's crazy. And I haven't really talked too much about Silent Hill in the past for me, especially for the channel, but I have played 2 and 3. I own 2 and 3 on the PS3 remaster. I probably played the original. I can't quite remember. It's been so long. I probably played the original. It was a very confusing game to me in the past, and now that I've played it a few times, I do understand it. It's extremely depressing as well, but it's done in a way where you don't actually know what's going on until the very end of the game. And then when you look back at everything, it's like, wow, that it is really like psychological horror. It's a very, very, very powerful game. And the remake, I think there are a lot of concerns from the community saying like, I don't know how this is going to work, because they're showing James's face, and in the original they purposely like didn't do that, and there was like the atmosphere was so palpable that it that's what drove the game, and that's what drove the psychology of the game. And here it looks like it's almost like too clean in a way. There's fog and all that kind of stuff, but they took the fog out of the HD remasters, which is a different story. But yeah, there's like a lot of talk about, and the game, there is something about the graphics that I don't know if it's not necessarily in the uncanny valley, but when you look at James's face, it's like, like there's something about this that's not feeling right. But look, I have faith. Hopefully they'll be able to pull it out when it actually does release, and when they get it done. Hopefully it'll be good. Hopefully it'll be, I mean, if it could be better than the original, that's going to be pretty crazy. Whether I'll do it on the channel or not, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we'll see, because the first game is actually quite challenging. It's an interesting platinum trophy, as well as the Silent Hill 3 as well. But I've already got a million things on my plate, so one thing at a time. We got more information about the Resident Evil 4 remake. Wow, that's looking good. I honestly, like, it's actually looking like amazing. I can't believe how different and how much the same it feels as well. Like, yeah, it's got the dark and gritty tone. The comedy's still there, because Leon is cracking one-liners throughout the game, which is always the best thing. Hopefully they've got a whole bunch of fresh one-liners throughout the game. But yeah, I actually, the trailer was hype. Like the different gameplay mechanics that they're investing into the game is epic. I just, yeah, they've done a really, really good job. I think this is going to be a solid entry into the series, and now Capcom have got, so they've got the Resident Evil remake remaster, which is, one of the greatest games of all time. They did Resident Evil 2, which is fantastic. Resident Evil 3 was a bit of a misstep. They've picked themselves up again with Resident Evil 4. Then they've got 7, which is very recent, still like 5-6 years, maybe, something. I can't quite remember. I think 7 came out in like 2016, 2017. They have 8, which is also like, it's a good game. I think I prefer 7. I think I spoke about this before, but I'm pretty confident I prefer 7. They've also got like Resident Evil 9 plans, even though we haven't really heard much about that for a little while, but Resident Evil 9 plans. So now they've just got, like, basically, if they remake or do something with the Resident Evil 5 and 6, which 6 is a bit of a, there's so much negativity around 6. I don't know how they could necessarily like recalibrate that game to to go, hey, like now Resident Evil 6 is the best game of all time, or like the best Resident Evil. Imagine that. Imagine a world now where like the script is flipped and Resident Evil 6 becomes like the best the best game. That would be insane. But yeah, so they've only got like really 5 and 6 of the mainline entries, if you exclude 0, to kind of redo, especially with because the title of like Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4, it's all designed in exactly the same way. Same font, the same, I think it's like a red letter R and then white Esident and Vil. Yeah, I can't remember exactly how it is, but I think it's like that. So that the similarity and all that similarity between the other games is fitting well. So I can't wait to play that as well. I don't know when, isn't it like early next year, like already? Jesus, these games come out so quickly now. Like, well, it's like everything's coming out and it's just insane. There's also the Crisis Core thing. I didn't write it down. That's right. Crisis Core. I think I talked about that last time as well. That was coming out in either December or it got pushed back to January. I don't know. A lot of people think that there's going to be a secret scene in that. I'm like, oh, I guarantee you there's going to be some kind of secret ending scene for that. Similar to how what was it? I think it was, the original Kingdom Hearts. Was it the original Kingdom Hearts? I don't know if it was the very, very first Kingdom Hearts, but one of the original Kingdom Hearts, if you finish the game on Proud mode, you got a secret scene. If you finish the game on Standard mode and did like, 70 or 80% completion, you got a secret scene. And then if you finished it on beginner but like completed everything, you would get a secret scene for Kingdom Hearts 2. So I think that's sort of along the same vein as to what we're going to get with Crisis Core, comparing or giving like a secret scene to Rebirth, which is the second part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see that. And then finally, the last thing was Final Fantasy 16. That looks pretty hype as well. They are going like a very different route with that. I'm looking at it and like the previous trailer made me think, I think I said it was like a mixture of Devil May Cry and Neo, which is like the craziest combination ever. So it looks really cool. But then you've also got these massive battles between the Eidolons, the GFs, the summons, whatever you want to call them. You've got these massive battles going on, and there's a lot, like there's so much like such a bombastic nature to what this trailer is delivering, and what the game is going to be. So I think this is actually going to be quite a different game than a lot of people are expecting. Like it's a very different take on what Final Fantasy has been for the past 15 games, if you exclude 14 and 11. So it's insane. And also, can you believe like we are when Final Fantasy 16 releases, we're 4 games away from Final Fantasy 20. Imagine that, Final Fantasy 20. That's gonna happen. I'm pretty sure that's gonna happen someday. It's not gonna be for many years, but that's gonna happen. All right. I mean, I think that's it. This is a bit of it's still 23, probably end up being 24, 25 minutes long by the time I finish. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about. Things have been going okay. Otherwise, I have sort of there is something else going on in my life right now, and I don't want to talk about it right now, but you'll probably end up finding out either the next update video or the update video after that. I'll mention it. You guys will know what I mean. And yeah, apart from that, like I'm still enjoying things and still trying to get through it. I'm actually really enjoying playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I want to get those episodes ready for you. And actually I have so much to do today, so I have to actually go and work on that. But just know that I'm trying my best to get as much done as I possibly can. I hope you did enjoy all of Elden Ring. Thank you for everyone who watched, subscribed, liked, all that kind of stuff. And it really means a lot. And even though my progress on YouTube has been slow going, it's how it is. It doesn't really matter. It's just I'm still enjoying it and still grinding away as you do. So until next time, or until tomorrow for you guys, you'll have another episode, a new series starting, and I hope you do enjoy that as much as I'm gonna have fun making it as well. So until then, I want to thank you all for watching this update video. My name's Ultima456, you're the Ultimates, and I'll see you next time.